the agent yesterday. The agent version is 4.3.22, and the following updates were part of the agent. Sorry. The first one is identifying assets where where the ping was disabled. So we kind of now using ICMP to pick up asset details, because we encountered places where ping was disabled in different customer environments. So we enhanced it to look for other protocols to pick up data. The second change that we did in the agent was, as part of the V4 agent, port 4222 had to be opened, but we had issues where some customers did not open this. So we had to build a fallback mechanism where we went to mycyberseniors.com as a fallback, and then redirected our data back into Connect Secure internally. So this prevented any issues of ports not being open, and hopefully over a period of time this issue will go away as well. The third one that we did was we enhanced the patching process, or the agent scanning and the patching process. What this means is that if you had a KB installed and you uninstalled it, initially we did not pick it up. So we enhanced the agent and the patching process to pick up the KB that has been uninstalled, so that we don't have false data being reported back. The fourth thing that we did was we reevaluated prioritization of network vulnerabilities. So what was happening was, when we did the Nmap scan, we kind of did a risk categorization of assets, and we found that some of the assets were being categorized incorrectly. So we relooked at the way we categorize the risk rating, and then we moved them back to the current information category rather than high and critical categories. We streamlined Active Directory scans. We had issues where once the scan was done, the data was not being pushed back, because the way we were pushing data was in large chunks. Now we kind of optimize the way we push the data back to our portal, so that we get data, Active Directory data, back in smaller pieces, and we capture it completely. We added two new firewalls, MikroTik and UTM, and hopefully next week we add a few more, including Lamcom, which is under testing now. We also added a fix to update credential scans during asset addition, that you can do it right away on the asset itself. We also added the ability to validate asset credentials when you add the credentials in the scan agent itself. More of that in the next few slides. We added an agent monitor feature within the agent. So if the agent was if offline or was not working, we could restart the agent with the feature that we have installed as a service. We had agent status issues where agents were showing online and offline. So now we kind of using HTTP to keep the agent status more visible. Earlier we used Nmap and we had NATs, and we had issues with NATs communication. So now we kind of relooked at the way we identifying whether agents are online or offline. We also added the ability to terminate jobs across. Earlier it was only for scans. Now we are doing it for every other feature where you could terminate jobs. And last but not the least is we updated fix for issues related to other assets. So earlier, what was happening was we were categorizing other assets when we did not pick up certain kind of data. Now we relooked at the way we categorize other assets, and now we should see more assets going into the asset category rather than other assets. This is as a summary that went into the agent release, and all of this should be available in the release notes on the portal as well. Going to the next slide, we added compliance self-assessment. We added self-assessments for Essential Aid, which is for Australia and New Zealand, and we also added Cyber Essentials, which is for the UK market. We continue to add a lot more self-assessments as we progress in the next few weeks. Going back into some additional functionality that we implemented, we added the valid credentials as you selected the agent type itself. So upfront, whether the credentials is valid or not. You don't have to wait for the scan to complete and then you go and figure out that the agent is invalid. So now if you go back, when you add the agent credentials upfront, you'll know whether the credentials is valid or not. So then the agent will run. We added the option to migrate agents between two companies. This was a request that we got in the last few weeks. So we added agent migration between two companies. We added a whole lot of applications into the patching library. We added about 250 applications in the last 1 week. The current count is 508, and we continue to add more and more patches application to the patching library. As and when it's a complete setup, separate team doing this, and we continue to add applications into the library. We added company level schedulers. Earlier it was only at global level, but now we added company level schedulers as well. We added asset credentials. You can add credentials in the asset. When you click on the asset, if you look at the middle of the screen, you can add credentials right here in the middle itself using the key functionality there. We added Azure AD last scan time. If you look at the bottom right of the screen, we added the last Azure AD scan time, which was something that which our customers keep asking. So we added that as a additional functionality this time. We added pagination to remediation plan. Earlier, it was one big dump of remediation plans. Now we added pagination feature. So you can go by, 5, 25, 50, 100, or 200. We updated the registry vulnerability asset view. So you can check for, the registry vulnerability assets, which are now visible as a new feature on this page. We added a few PDF reports. We added Active Directory user data as a PDF report. And we added the groups also. And we also added the system information report as a PDF report. We also added the Windows share permissions as a PDF report. This is something that we got as feedback, so we added that report as well. Just a few updates on what is being tested, and that's going to come up in the next week. We have we added labels for all settings. Earlier, it was just icons, and it was not very clear what these icons were unless you moved your mouse over. So we now added dynamic labels for all the icons. All of this is under test now. We added a filter for problem category, which was not there earlier. So now you can filter on problem category, be it critical, high, medium, or low, or whatever other categories that may exist. The same thing again. Next exciting thing that's coming up is we are adding remediation for non-compliance for various compliance categories. Currently, we are adding remediation for non-compliant items under CIS. So if you have a whole lot of non-compliant items, you can select them in one check, and then if you remediate it, we apply these remediations across all the assets that have these non-compliance. So at any point of time, if you select once and you click on remediate, you will go from a non-compliant into a compliant category. So this is a big new feature, that's exciting feature that's coming up in the next release as well. And we continue to add this for all our compliances at going forward. So whether it is CIS or NIST or Cyber Essentials or Essential 8, we'll have this feature rolled out for all the compliance. Right now, we're just doing it for Windows Workstation to begin with. That's about it. Open to questions and feedback. Let's go with the questions that are on the chat.
Okay, thanks, Suraj. You want to quickly take some of those questions on the chat?
Yes, Sri, hold on. Yes, the new agent is 4.3.22. That's right. When do you have to be migrated from a V3 to V4 version? Is there an end date? Sri, do you have an answer for that?
So broadly, the thought is that both versions will continue to be working until June. Again, the reason is there have been people who have been using V3 extensively, and we want to give people enough time to make the switch. So June will be the switchover date where we will deprecate V3, and the whole production release will become only purely V4. So that's a short answer. Yeah, June, we'll be there till June. So hopefully gives people sufficient time until the end of June.
Okay, great. In the vulnerability tables, there's a column which says that shows how many assets are affected, but it's difficult to see which assets they are. Point taken, we'll have a look at it and then we'll have a fix out for this. I agree it would be useful to if they added the name of the last logon user of the affected assets. Point taken. We'll take a look at this as well. I also have a question about V3 to V4. Should we be doing that now? We are a new partner, so just wondering. Jason, what is the question? I hope Sri's answer was able to answer your question. Okay, great, thanks. Can you show the slide with the supported third-party applications patching again, please? No problem. We'll have this sent to you, Tyler. No problem. It's part of the release notes. You will have it in the release notes as well. The V4 release notes, it lists all the applications that are in the patching library. If you go to our release notes, you'll see it there in the help. Do we have a timeline on adding more routes and methods to V4 API and make it similar to V3? Yes, this is work in progress, and we will work towards adding more routes and methods to V4 API, make it similar to V3. I'm seeing version 4.3.2.3 already.
So there is a new patch fix that we.
Yeah, there was the 4.3.23 was released to address a urgent fix, and yes, you are right. Peter, thank you on that V3 to V4. We suggest moving now. Thanks for the feedback. Our reports in V4 at parity with V3 at this point. We are working the PDF reports at this point, but yes, everything else should be on parity at this point, Ben. In the available patch screen, when you click on the number of assets, it should be useful to see which ones are online. That's a point taken. We'll have a look at this. Message question from Sean: is the training documentation for V4 available? Yes, as and when we release features, the training document is updated. Ryan manages this. Ryan, if there's anything missing out, please shout out to us, and Ryan will be able to get back to you on this. It's not clear how on-prem users upgrade to V4. Are there any instructions anywhere? So we are working on the on-prem of V4. More information to you, Chris, in the coming weeks. Will Winget be available to use for patching? Good question. I'll come back to you on this, Jeffrey. V4, some tenants don't update correctly. Anthony, is there a ticket on this? I mean, I'll be more than happy to respond to you on this. Can you raise a support ticket for this, please, Anthony? This is something that we want to monitor and fix at the earliest if you're still having issues on tenants not getting updated correctly. When migrated to V4, is it recommended to install V3 agent? Whenever you're ready and you're completely migrated to V4, let us know and we'll take care of this uninstall. Jim, that's for you. What do you, Chris, what do you estimate the feature parity percentage between V3 and V4? Progress, I would say we are about 90% there. With the coming weeks, we should be close to 100%. In addition to that, there are a whole lot of extra features that are not there in V3, which are coming up in V4 as well, which are already there in V4, Chris. What triggers an agent upgrade? I still have agents on V3 13.9. I'll come back to you on that just in a few minutes. Anthony, if you already raised a ticket, I'll take a look at it. There's no need to raise another one. Coming back to the question on update agents, there is a reset agent configuration button in the if you click on the actions button next to the agent, that will trigger an agent update. Nick. But they are the same set as other. Can we migrate agent from one tenant to another? One company to another. Anthony, do you mean one company to another company? You cannot migrate, but you can replicate. Yeah, you can replicate an agent from one tenant. Ryan, thanks for that. Thanks for that update. A question from Sean: how do you force an agent update in V4? We used to be able to use -u in CLI. This does not work for V4. Sean, I'll have a look at this and I'll come back to you. You can do it in the UI actually, Sean. If you go and select the action button on an agent, you will have a pop-up which says recent agent configuration. You can select the update agent button there and you should be able to update an agent there. I'll come back to you on this command line on the CLI question that you have. Is there a document where that explains the criteria for waiting? Yes, you should be able to. Thanks, Ryan, for the update. Thanks again once more, Clive. Is the ability to push LWA using probe enabled? Yes, this is in V4. Thanks, Ryan, once more. It would be nice to reset agent configuration in bulk. We have many workstations that need updated and we can't invoke the action with multiple agent selection. I opened a ticket last week. They're working on it. Yes, Nick, we're working on it. We'll come back to you on this. Sean, again, can the agent reset be added to global so that it can be completed on multiple endpoints? Point taken. We'll have a look at this, Sean. Would be great if you can, raise a ticket to us so that we can track this to closure. Are all API endpoints shown here available in V4? Chris, hold on one second. Yes, Chris, it should be available in V4. Yes, all of this should be available in V4. Srikanth, I think we have all the questions. Is there anything else that people have to say or any feedback? Up to you. Over to you, Srikanth.
So thanks, Suraj. So any questions? We wanted to make sure that we have the call, make sure that the latest updates are shared. And if there are any feedback, as always, please let us know. And V4 is in a much better spot, and hopefully, everybody else is also. We have spoken to many people during the recent Writer Boom conference, and the support has been very, very. It's really inspired a lot of confidence in us as well. So yeah, keep the the questions coming. If you have any issues, you know where to reach us. support@kinectsecure.com. And as always, we'll be there to help. So thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day, and thanks. Thanks, Suraj. Close the call.